Guys, I want to welcome everybody to the last week. Yes, the last week of Principles of Management. Can't believe it already. So this week we have a few things to kind of go over as far as what needs to be done, as far as getting everything turned in on time. So for this last week, it's the controlling aspect. We're still going to have our live lecture on Monday, and pretty much you have a written assignment and a discussion and your final exam quiz, just a longer quiz, honestly. So this week's objectives are pretty intense, even for this last week. We need to recognize the 4 steps of the controlling process. We need to be specific in our corrections and identifying of the problems, so that way we can make accurate decisions and changes, I guess, where needed. Also focusing in on being proactive versus reactive. Proactive, my favorite word. Anytime I would run meetings, that was pretty much my code or keyword. Trying to be proactive against problems or changes or things that might happen that could be foreseen anyway. Use accounting and financial controls to improve company-wide performances, define plan and organizational changes within an organization, and as well as describe the importance and necessity of planned changes within organizations. We need to describe fields of organizational development, usually housed within an HR department, as well as change managers or change management, also usually housed either in organizational development or in HR within large companies. Looking at the skills and the competencies that OD specialists and change managers need. And then, of course, looking at balancing the change and stability that is needed also within companies. And discuss 3 basic types of organizational change. And then we need to look at things like open systems, balanced scorecard, which is, I believe, is your last discussion post, contingency alignments, and of course, a stakeholder approach. So again, a lot to cover. We'll go into some of that in more detail for the live lecture, and we'll do a mini review for the final. So your written assignment should be relatively easy. It's really just doing that career readiness part 2. Excuse me. So basically what you're going to do is create a 2-page paper outlining. Every time I start to do an announcement, I start coughing. All right. So you're going to create about a 2-page paper outlining your resume, ultimately, and your skill set. So you're doing a SWOT analysis, a personal SWOT analysis on yourself. So you're going to outline your strengths and weaknesses of the resume, and of course taking into account areas like academic credentials, prior work experience, and required skill sets for your career. And then you're going to create a personal development plan. This is very similar to a SMART goal or an action plan if you guys have done these before. But it's more of an in-depth and detailed plan, action plan, SMART goal on how you're going to overcome those weaknesses and really kind of capitalize on those strengths that you just talked about within your resume. So of course, correct spelling, punctuation, and APA formatting. So I will expect a title page just like before, and if there were any additional references that you might have had to pull in for this paper, absolutely should be included. Ultimately, if you've not done an action plan or a SMART goal, we will go over this in a little bit more detail in the live lecture if you needed, or of course email me directly for that. So the rubrics again for this last written assignment, you've outlined your strengths and weaknesses, you created that personal development plan or action plan, also been called a SMART goal. They're really all the same, just different acronyms for different things, but a little bit more detailed as far as specifically what are you going to do, how are you going to do it, how are you going to overcome any obstacles, what is your time frame, will you need assistance, and of course the realistic aspects of it. And of course APA formatting, spelling, and grammar. The last discussion post for this week is the Balanced Scorecard. Basically, suppose a company at which executives were rewarded for meeting specific targets based on profits and stock prices, basically switch to a balanced scorecard that measures things like customer satisfaction, employee engagement, diversity, and ethical conduct within the organization. A lot of things that you can't really put price tags on in some aspects. So, how, if at all, would you expect executive performance to change in response to this new control system? How, if at all, would you expect the company's performance to change? And then, of course, you want to make sure you back up any of your answers with additional research if needed. Your initial post will still be due Wednesday, and then your feedback post Saturday midnight. As we are coming to the end, everything will be due Sunday midnight, including the final exam. So I'm giving you a little bit more time to complete the final exam and quiz, etc. For or the final exam for this class. Then after you guys take your last quiz for week 5, I can go ahead and determine where I can post extra credit if you have taken the extra credit. And of course, if you don't watch the announcements or haven't been watching the announcements, you will not know what I'm talking about, so it won't matter. And if you do, hopefully you've done the extra credit, and I know I have a few people that have done so already. So I will go ahead and take your lowest quiz grade and replace that with the extra credit. So the final exam, you have one attempt. It's 25 questions. It's a mixture of multiple choice and true and false. It is timed, and it is 25 minutes. I again will do the same thing I have been doing and go over some of these questions for the final exam. So the live lecture is still going to be Monday, 6 to 7 Eastern time, and we'll do a review. And of course, I will send it out for everybody to watch and send me that for your live lecture attendance. So we are at the end. Everything needs to be in by Sunday midnight. No ifs, ands, or buts. I have to close it for grading purposes. If you guys get everything in early, I'm able to complete grades early, and I do have to have grades in by Monday morning. So I do need everybody to have everything in by that Sunday midnight deadline. So I hope everybody does have a good break if you get one. If you don't have one, I've enjoyed teaching everybody in the course. I hope you have enjoyed the live lectures and the video announcements and everything that I've tried to do to make this 6-week course relatively as easy as possible for you to achieve your goals. If you do have questions or comments or concerns, feel free to email me. Make sure reach out to me after the course if you need further assistance in any of your other courses in business. I have a lot of students that reach out to me at different times for a lot of different things, even after the graduation, letters of recommendation, etc. I've had, I just actually had a student in the library last night come to tell me that they've got their first real job, is what she tells me. She gets her own office, her own desk. She's working in accounting. She's super excited. So it was it was kind of a fun little hurrah for her. I'm very excited to see when you guys get to progress further. And I know it's a little different. A lot of you are already working out in the field and you're just trying to advance in your company, but please stay in touch. I enjoyed working with everybody, and I hope everybody feels the same. Bye now, and I will see you Monday on our last live lecture.